Welcome back to Fate 101 with Melissa here at M.A.D Games. Before we begin, this is my hat. I've named it Disclaimer. Because if you think this hat is loud, I'm way louder than this hat. And I don't mean in a volume way. I mean, I have so much I can't contain it! At times. It's a blessing and a burden. So if you can't handle that, this video might not be for you. Just heads up there. But if you think it's hilarious, keep watching! This lesson is about Session 0. Now, when you get to game session, Session 0 is a bit of an oddity in most role-playing games because Session 0 actually is the pre-game session. You show up to feel out the nitty-gritty and finish up the details and meet the other players and find out more about the session, ask the questions you need to, all at Session 0, so when you start with actual Session 1 and you actually start the campaign, it goes that much smoother. You know what's going on, you know who the other characters are, and you know what you're gonna do. There you go. So you've never played a Fate game before. What you gonna need? Well, really, when you show up, you only really need two things. That's one, what's your character? Just a basic idea of what their high concept is and their trouble. You don't really have to worry about aspects too much until you get to Session 0 because you can get help from other players building your character. That's why Session 0 can be a lot of fun. Because if you're standing there going, I want to do a thing and it's kind of like this, but I have no idea what to call it, this is where it comes in. Which, by the way, aspects, names are important. They're like kind of your special attacks that if you've ever seen an anime or a video game and they go special dragon sword jutsu wah, that's basically what it is. But internally, you don't like yell that in game. You actually technically you yell out of character, letting your DM know you're activating it. But just make them cool. It's much more fun that way. This is the other thing that's great about Session 0. You know how we talked what the setting aspects are and what the city aspects are. For example, if you have a city that's really corrupted, like it's a huge metropolis, but it's a very corrupted city, that you could literally bribe anyone. The entire setting could have an aspect called Money Paves the Way. And remember about aspects, you can tap them for bonuses. So guess what? You could tap that. If your character happens to be extremely wealthy, and you're like, well, this isn't really going right, I kind of want to speed things along, you could literally tap the setting aspect, Money Paves the Way, make a roll, ta-da. More bonuses, eh? So, you really want to show for Session 0, because then you can find out what other bonus aspects there are during the campaign that you can tap. That, and if you want to set up a contact or a special NPC for your character, you do this now. For example, I've had a character who literally needed to have a bar. There was a bar that they went to, and they knew the bartender and they worked there. So we made the main NPC who ran that bar, we made the bar, and guess what? The bar also had an aspect. So let me tell you, Session 0 is great for getting more aspects into the game, and as a player, you want to take note of what aspects there are. Because again, aspects give you bonuses. And yes, the DM can use them against you too, so keep that in mind, but 50-50, half a dozen in the other, and one, all that pizzazzy. Oh, and the other thing, you don't technically need it at Session 0, but a character sheet is always handy. If your DM has a custom one, you know, print it out, or you can just do a notebook and just write down what you need to know, because there's not really much you need to write down for a character in Fate. It's super simple. As long as you know their name, gender, the basic trio, name, gender, eyes, hair color, weightish, heightish. That's about all you need to know, all you need to know. Oh my god, there's a word here. Physicality-wise, that's all you gotta know. That's it. That's literally it. And then you have a tree for skills. Well, it's kind of a tree. You'll see. I'll put the grid up somehow, and I'll show you what I mean later in the skills lesson. That's not covered here. There's a little set of blocks for your stress tracks. Again, another video. And there's a thing for your stunts and a thing for your concepts. That's it. You just need those 5 parts. Super easy. You can just write it down on a piece of paper. Or if you have an app on your phone, I found the character planner app actually worked really well when I didn't have paper. Hurricane Irma. So I just made the character, plopped all the information on there. Good to go. Didn't even need paper. Save the environment. Again, Fate is a hugely collaborative effort between you, the other players, and your DM. So take advantage of Session 0. This really will help smooth the way for you and make it a lot more fun, because then you just jump right into it, off you go. That, and if you have any questions, you want to do something outrageous, you want to get approval from your DM for some weird stuff, this would be the place to do it, Session 0. So there's no, oh crap, I forgot to ask you about this, can I do it? That kind of chops up regular game sessions if you start off just blam, doing Session 1. So again, Session 0, super helpful. Oh, and the last thing you're going to need to make sure you have before you show up for Session 1 is some D6s. That's all you roll in this game. 4 D6s. You don't need to have fudge dice, as they're called. They're the dice with pluses, minuses, and blanks, 2 of each. You just literally can roll D6s. I do it all the time. I have so many D6s in my house from my decade of role-playing, and then my dad's decades of role-playing. It's ridiculous, so I never run out, but you can always, as my DM has said, if you have a Yahtzee set and you need D6s really quick, you grab 4 from there. You just need 4. Do not be afraid to talk to your DM during Session 0. If you have a question, if you have an idea, anything at all, please bring it up to your DM, because the more you guys collaborate, the better it gets. I have done some cool stuff with my DM, just because I'm like, hey, can I do this? And he's like, sure! My sister has done ridiculous stuff when the couple fate sessions she's tried, and she's just like, go for it, and she just makes it work, and it's a work of art. Love you, little sis. Now, what if you can't make Session 0? Makes it little less easier on you, but as long as you're in contact with your DM and you just talk and ask questions, and or if you can open a group chat with the other players, there you go. You're pretty much covered at that point. You don't have to worry about too much about not being able to figure out what's going on. As long as you can remember, get the basics. Hey, what are the extra setting aspects? I need this NPC, yada yada, you're golden. So if you can't make Session 0, don't feel super bad. Crap happens. You have a child, you have a dog, a family member needs help, something comes up, work calls. It happens, and no one's going to hold that against you, so don't feel bad if you can't make Session 0. But if you can make Session 0, I highly recommend it. This has been Fate 101 with Melissa here at M.A.D Games. Thanks for watching.